Josh Arnold, investment consultant, brings you Garage Logic podcast episode number 1572, June 26, 2025. 99 degrees was the record high on this day. That was in 1931. And in 1926, they awakened to 46 degrees.
Ooh.
Call Josh at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom,
Coffee time,
and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Souchere.
I apologize. The closed microphone has revolutionized the industry, and I broke the rule. I'm sorry.
You know what that murdering creep Vance Belter was doing for a living before he decided to become an assassin?
Not till this morning.
He was an eyeball puller outer. He plucked out eyeballs from bodies.
Cadavers?
Yeah.
Yuck.
What a creep.
That's a job?
Well, I guess.
Or was he grave robber?
Well, he hauled bodies around and he plucked their eyeballs out.
I would not like that job. Well, wait a minute. What's it pay?
Well, you wouldn't want to do that. I got a wonderful note.
Isn't that also a form of punishment in Iran? I read that over the weekend.
No, I don't think they'd ever do anything like that.
No, they're very civil.
Very nice people.
Okay. I thought
Krista in Western Maryland writes, hot water can be bad for plants. I'm pleased to know that because...
As I said, if it damaged the roots, it would be bad for the plants.
You're going to claim that you were on top of that, huh?
Yeah.
And she enjoyed the fellow who was describing the cause of tornadoes as being traffic circles.
On account of?
On account of.
Hold on. That was a saver. We got to.
You can't play it enough.
Didn't have tornadoes here until we started putting into traffic circles. Because on the count of, you want to know why? When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere and causes tornadoes.
A couple of emailers think that sounds exactly like Governor Cockwomble.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a caveat, though. You just said you can't play that enough. He's the wrong guy to say that to.
Right.
You're
Didn't
right.
have tornadoes here until we started putting into traffic circles. Because on the count of, you want to know why? When people go round and round in circles, it causes disturbance in the atmosphere and causes tornadoes.
Okay, I don't want to hear it again.
I can help you, though.
I see a wall similarity.
You guys
I do. Yeah, there is.
Don't know, but his cadence reminds me of my late grandfather mixed in with frequent caller Gil. That's who that
Yeah,
reminds
there's
me
a little Gil in there, but
right.
there's Walls is in there, too.
My bohemian cattle farmer grandfather and Gil. That's who that sounds like to me.
It makes me want to go down to the Legion and then stand outside with the fellas having a heater.
On account of, you want to know
Because that's
why?
what we talk about when we're doing a lung dart.
On account of, you want to know why. That might be my favorite turn of a phrase.
That's pretty good.
I have a new theory that might be helpful in understanding the mystery.
On account of, you want to know why?
On account of, you want to know why I came up with this? No, I was reading, among the many websites I check every day is NPR, just for the balance and see what everybody's up to. And only NPR would have had this story. Well, the Star Tribune might, but they haven't. Only NPR might have had this story. Wild, safe, and sober. An antique mall in Fridley caters to the queer community.
Okay.
That's fine. I love those kind of stores. I'm not much of an antique guy, but I like, looking through the window, see what they have.
Poke around.
So it's a married couple named Dave Wenzel and Josh Larson. They're the co-owners of Wild Things Antiques in Fridley. And it's very important to them that their identity as a queer couple was going to be on the forefront of what they're doing as a business. And if you read a little further in the NPR story, it said that we don't want antiquing to be exclusionary. And my theory light bulb went off.
Oh, I'm confused.
One of the things that Mysterians do, I don't know if these two guys are Mysterians or not, but they've bought into the cliches, is that virtually everything is exclusionary. If they can sell you on the idea that something's exclusionary, it sets up the idea that it's you're oppressed for not taking part in it. So all of a sudden now antiquing is exclusionary, and I suppose that's a ruse for saying that it's just white people antique.
Got it.
White heterosexual people antique. But think of all the things we've come up with or have noted over the years, and the tagline on all of it is, well, it needs more equity, or it's an exclusionary practice. And we're so virtually everything the mystery has identified, and one of the reasons they find the country's founding so flawed is that they're selling you on this idea that it's exclusionary,
Right.
that you can't take part. So here's a couple of guys. I'm not indicting them. I don't know how what they think about this, but it came to their mind that their store is designed not to be exclusionary. Well, whoever thought it would be?
Right. It's just,
I mean, if you're walking down the street in Fridley and you see this store, there's an antique store.
I want to see if they have the phones on the wall. The old crank phones.
Did you set this up as saying that they only want gay people?
No. It seems to me what they're trying to tell us is that we are a gay couple and we also are antiquers.
Oh,
as though they could not be, because antiquing is seen as exclusionary.
I see you.
Yeah.
I have never thought that.
No, but see, they're selling that idea all the time. Everything. We just had one the other day. What was it? Oh, shoot. Something was.
I lost my membership card. Jason Matheson was lucky enough to set me up. I lost it. So now, do I have to prove that? When I go there, do I have to, kiss a guy?
Hey.
No, you're still missing the point. They don't care. You don't have to pass any litmus test to go to their antique store.
Okay.
What they're suggesting, they're playing into the agenda. The agenda is that virtually everything in American life has been exclusionary. And now we're here to say, no, it's not. Look, we can do it. Well, of course you can. You could have done it 200 years ago. Who cares?
This, to me, seems like brilliant marketing on their part.
But it's working. And they sell it. It works.
Yeah,
we must do this program in schools for equity because otherwise it's exclusionary. It's just a bunch of BS, but it works.
Yeah, it's brilliant marketing. Yeah.
So that's my new theory. Everything is exclusionary.
Okay.
Whether it is or not.
Whether it's made up.
Yeah, exactly. I got you. We all know the best thing that could happen to a neighborhood is a gay couple move in. Everybody's values go. The water rises. Everybody's boat goes up. It's wonderful what they do for us.
Well, that used to be the old cliche. I'm not sure it's true anymore.
Oh, it's still true.
It depends on the neighborhood.
Oh, you're saying some neighborhoods are beyond hope?
Yeah. It depends on the neighborhood.
Or it's redundant, maybe? Yeah,
Come on, help me with other examples. Shoot, we just had one the other day, but the theory hadn't been developed yet, so I didn't get to flag it as part of the theory.
You'll get emails. We're already stuck in weekend mode here, so we're having a hard time.
Well, I don't think you should be. Well, a friend of mine gave me the very disturbing news that Buckee's is facing a lawsuit. Now, we were saluting Buckee's for their cleanliness and the way they've got it figured out. Yeah. They've got that broken windows theory figured out, man. There's no broken windows at Buckee's. They got the whole deal. They're a Texas mega chain. They're a gas station. But they're so much more than that. They're a very clean operation, and They have attendants that clean the restrooms and what have you. And what he sent me was a piece from environmental and community members band together against Bucky's. It's from a news site called In These Times. And we learned that Missy's Grill sits off a tree-lined stretch near where Interstate 40 and I-85 merge, an unassuming diner advertised by no billboard, no lit sign, just Missy's Grill in white plastic lettering. Del Ward stands in the parking lot gesturing emphatically across the road at a cattle farm that was nearly turned into a gas station the size of a small mall. It would have been the first Bucky's travel stop in North Carolina. So 5 years ago, Ward was on his way to Missy's for a sandwich when he noticed a little sign about a zoning meeting. That's how he learned about the proposed mega gas station in his tiny hometown. At the meeting, he said there were people who have lived here their whole lives saying, absolutely not. This is my drinking water. This is the air I breathe. We don't want this. Goes on to tell us about this Ward fellow. He's 30. He's a country musician. He lives in Greensboro, but he grew up going to Missy's and used to coach mixed martial arts nearby at a gym. I don't know what that has to do with anything. So Ward and his neighbors successfully organized to stop Bucky's from opening. But the company buckled down. In 2023, Bucky's returned with a proposal just a few miles up the road in Mebane. In spite of strong local opposition, the Mebane Bucky's is expected to open in about 3 years after a huge renovation of the highway interchange. And then the writer of this story is named Lewis Raven Wallace. And Lewis Raven Wallace, Z, is a journalist based in Durham, North Carolina. He currently is a Ford Global Fellow and the Abolition Journalism Fellow with Interrupting Criminalization. He is white and transgender, and was born and raised in the Midwest with deep roots in the South. I find that germane because it seems Z is the perfect candidate to write such a piece. That they don't want this, and they don't want Bucky's because it's too big. And it's too polluting, and it's too overwhelming. So Bucky's, Z must have called Bucky's, but they declined to comment. So after a contentious public meeting, the Mebane Planning Board recommended against rezoning the site to allow the mega gas station. In January of 2024, the city council heard hours of public comment, the vast majority against Bucky's. The broad consensus was this: Bucky's is not for us. It's for tourists, people from elsewhere, to flush endless toilets and pump endless gas. The city council approved the plan anyway. Bucky's is a stupid chain that is an American nightmare, said Janet Ecklebarger, an organizer who lives next to the Mebane site. It's the last thing we want people to think about Mebane. What do you want people to think about Mebane? I never heard of it.
I think that's what she wants.
Bucky's is unequivocally pro-fossil fuel. The co-owner, flashy Texas millionaire. Boy, do you think this is a little biased reporting here? The co-owner, flashy Texas millionaire, I got news for you, Z. He's probably more than a millionaire. Arch Beaver Alpin III is a major donor to Southern Republican governors like Greg Abbott and Ron DeSantis, who are against trans rights.
I hate him.
A billboard featuring Bucky's red-hatted juvenile beaver logo already haunts the highway just beyond Mebane. Bucky is upside down, and the logo lettering is backward, a gimmick to catch the eye. Fat yellow letters yell, yes, it's for real. Okay, so anyway, Bucky's is is unloved by Mysterians because it's pro-fossil fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Its ownership might contribute money to Republican candidates.
They're capitalists.
They're capitalists. They flush too many toilets.
That would be my main concern. Where is that going? Do they have a septic system? The little city can't handle all of that.
Well, it sounds to me like it's something Bucky's would take seriously.
Oh,
They're not going to just dump it into the field. That's not Bucky's way. Bucky's going to take care of it.
It ain't the Bucky way.
Ain't the Bucky
are you
way.
You on the Bucky's board of directors there?
Bucky way
Buster?
didn't take that.
Yeah,
Won't
you're on
they?
that. Won't that?
Mickey,
I'm still trying. I'm brainstorming. Your earlier question: could auto repair? I'm trying to think of businesses where a gay, and I'm just thinking from the male standpoint, a gay guy might feel uncomfortable. Is auto repair one of them? Could
no,
you have
it doesn't matter. No matter what you come up with in the
Could be a trans
in the
renter,
Mysterian agenda, it would have been considered exclusionary. No matter what you come up with.
What am I looking up?
I think that would be,
Mebane, what is it? North Carolina or South? North Carolina. Look up Mebane. Mebane. Where is Mebane, North Carolina?
I did look it up. It's just outside of Hillsboro.
Right by Hillsboro.
Okay, where's Hillsboro?
Stone's throw from St. Cloud.
Where's Hillsboro?
I just looked up the intersection.
Well, you said it's a stone's throw from Hillsboro. Where's Hillsboro?
in North Carolina. Okay, sorry.
You gonna start crying?
No,
There's no crying when you look something
I
up.
thought that was the answer you were looking for.
Well, no, it doesn't help me.
It's halfway between Greensboro and Durham, so it is northwest of Raleigh and Durham.
Okay, is it on a freeway? What's the nearest major freeway?
Let me zoom in on that.
It has to be on a freeway.
Well, I was going to say, didn't the story say in the intersection of I-40 and 85?
Now look up Mebane, Rook.
Yes,
M-E-B.
it's north of 85.
Yeah, what do you want to know? I looked up Mebane right away.
Okay, well, you have one of these Mysterians who's objecting to it because we don't want people to think this is what Mebane is. Okay, how is Mebane touting itself?
It's not touting itself at all. In fact, it's only 17,000 people, so it's smaller than my hometown of Mandan, North Dakota.
Yeah.
And it's part of the Research Triangle and Piedmont Triad areas of North Carolina.
But they got a big ball of twine, anything going for them?
Nothing that I can see. It was named a top 5 great place in North Carolina in 2017 because they have high-end home furnishing stores, antique shops, and trendy clothing stores.
Well, that's going downhill when Bucky's moves
Joe,
in.
they have a place called Biscuitville in Mebane.
Biscuit.
You got any biscuits in there?
Downtown Mebane is a home to many high-end furnishing stores, antique shops, trendy clothing stores. Downtown, a variety of restaurants, several boutique, antique, and curio shops with local flair.
Can you tell me I know I'm dragging this out, but there's a reason.
Okay.
Can you tell me approximately in miles how far it is from Raleigh-Durham?
Garrett Cross.
'Cause I'm very familiar with that area.
A shopping center located on the south side of McBain, next to Interstate 85 and Interstate 40.
Okay, so it's Bucky's territory. There's interstates.
Yes.
Okay, how far do you think it is from Raleigh?
McBain is
Durham.
20 miles of several notable universities.
That's good then. It's 20 miles
It's within
from
20 miles of Duke and Chapel Hill.
North Carolina.
Yes.
Okay, I know the area like the back of my hand because a kid I used to have lived there. Those small towns in North Carolina, the closer you get to Raleigh-Durham, are really funky. They're nice. They're
charming.
They're charming. So that helps me understand the
Rook, when's their town festival?
objection.
July, and then they call it Clown Fest. And there are many. They do have some floats available for this July coming up.
Thank you.
Wait till I get Bucky's Bizarre Days.
I'm telling you.
Joe,
Bucky the Clown.
Go Buck Wild.
from Raleigh, it's 46 miles, approximately 55 minutes
That's
on
nothing.
I.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
It's right by the brain triangle
Thing.
there. Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill is your brain triangle. They dream up stuff while they're smoking.
Gotcha.
Because that was tobacco country. Mm-hmm. Durham was, you can still see the old faded tobacco logos and advertisements on the sides of brick buildings.
Can you combine two stories? Is Bucky's exclusionary?
Absolutely.
Come on, make the link. Come on.
Of course it is, because for any reason at all you can come up with, it's exclusionary.
It seems to me like it welcomes everybody.
Tourism is
except
exclusionary.
the locals.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Everything's exclusionary. That's part of the agenda. We have to make it sound exclusionary so then we can become victims.
I think that's brilliant. I don't know. It's brilliant marketing.
Yeah. Say if summer's taking a toll on your garage door, get a hold of Precision Door MN. They serve western Wisconsin and the entire metro. You call them for an appointment to fix your current garage door. They text you when they're on the way. They're prompt. They're efficient. They usually get it done in one visit because they don't give you that song and dance about having to go back to the shop for a particular washer. They try to have that stuff with them. And in the event you need a new door, Precision Door has models of new doors for every budget. And if you buy a new door now from Precision Door, they're throwing in the motor that runs the whole contraption. That's a value of more than $760. You can book online at precisiondoormn.com. That's one word, precisiondoormn.com. Or call Precision Door at 612-263-6985.
Reavers here once again for my guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Does thinking about retirement make you uncomfortable? Well, sometimes the anxiety from wondering if you've saved enough can be overwhelming. But what if I told you that you could ease those tensions in just 48 minutes? Well, Mr. Money Talk is going to be able to sit down with you and get you on the right track for your financial future. Josh has navigated it all when it comes to uncertain market and economic conditions, and he'll always provide straight talk, never sugar-coated advice on how to reach the finish line with your retirement goals. Don't let your financial worries give you an ulcer or keep you from calling Josh right now. His 48-minute, no-obligation consultation could be just what you need to feel better about your future. Call Josh today at 952-925-5608 and set up your free 48-minute, no-obligation consultation. That's 952-925-5608.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.
The earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
We've got a GLer up here in Douglas County. Pretty brilliant guy. He's taken the old tried and true creed, that work smarter, not harder thing. He's taken that to a whole new level. Listen to this email. I've been keeping a bottle of Seafoam Bugs Be Gone in my truck and a second one on the shelf in my garage. The last time I drove my car, I got home late from southern Minnesota, could barely see out the windshield. I grabbed the bottle on my shelf, gave my car a spritz, and then took it outside when it was raining. I turned the wipers on, and there were no bug smears or spots left, just totally cleaned glass. I love that stuff and have a new habit to pre-spray in the garage before driving in the rain. How brilliant is that? I love that we keep getting updates on the various ways to apply the Seafoam Bugs Be Gone. Y'all, you're a very inventive bunch. Just
Did you
keep
say y'all?
I did. Y'all.
On account of you want to know why?
I kind of wanted to know why.
All of y'all are very inventive. Just keep sending me these emails, and I'll keep sharing them with the group. We love learning. Generally speaking, here's what you do. Assuming you're at the filling station, you spray it on before you start the pump. Get the pump going. Wait a few minutes, and then squeegee the windshield like normal. You'll agree this stuff is absolutely amazing, and just another fine product from our friends at Seafoam.
Very brief story, Ken. I forgot to tell you this. William had a game in Le Sueur Tuesday night. Leaving there, we got behind about 8-10 cars that were leaving the Henderson Car Show. The lead car had a Seafoam, what would you call it, like a flag on his antenna. And I was trying to find a way to get a picture, but I was driving, so I didn't want to do that. It was really freaking cool.
Yeah. If you have cylinders, you need Seafoam.
Yep.
Hey, I should write that down. Hold on.
What
did I just say?
Something is right.
If you have...
The president of the Chicago Teachers Union is a woman named Stacy Davis Gates. And she said that the children of Chicago belong to the Union.
Oh.
And she was giving a speech at the City Club of Chicago. Every single one of them all over the globe are ours. And what comes next is CTU, Chicago Teachers Union, thinks your children are its children. Yes, we do, we do, we do, Davis Gates said earlier this week. She cited James Baldwin, a prominent writer and civil rights activist. Davis Gates said CTU thinks all children belong to it, and they are a socialist conspiracy ideology. Well, I don't know about that, but we like children. We educate them, we nurture them, we protect them, we support them, we negotiate for them, we create space for them, we even have them in our homes. Davis Gates was invited to deliver an address at the City Club, a public forum where prominent government officials and influential figures speak. Since it was founded in 1903, the forum has hosted speakers from both sides of the political aisle, including Donald Trump, Barack Obama, Mike Pence. Corey DeAngelis, a senior fellow at the American Culture Project and school choice advocate, told Fox News that Chicago's public school system is performing poorly. The irony is glaring. If CTU were a parent, it would lose custody for educational neglect and abuse given the catastrophic failure of Chicago's public schools, DeAngelis said. Davis Gates previously made headlines for making controversial claims criticizing school choice policies and conservatives. Last year, she told a news radio host that conservatives do not want black children to read, adding that is part of the oath they take to be right-wing. Have you ever taken an oath like that?
Wow.
During negotiations with Chicago Public Schools, the union reportedly called for over $50 billion to pay for wage hikes, along with several other demands. To put that figure into context, the total base receipts for the state of Illinois last year were $50.7 billion.
Holy cow.
So they're kidnapping our
So
children.
they want all of the state's money.
They're holding the kids hostage for the money and claiming ownership to these kids.
Davis Gates' remarks and the union contract demands came amid Chicago's enrollment crisis. Chicago currently faces enrollment struggles with a high price tag for a small number of students attending class. It's happening here, by the way. Why do the schools want more money if the enrollment continues to decline?
I don't know.
Well, I know.
So money grab.
Because they have a monopoly on taking your tax money. A report authored by Chalkbeat and ProPublica found that 47 schools in Chicago are operating at less than one-third capacity.
Holy crap.
The school has roughly 325,000 students. They lost 75,000 students from a decade ago.
What does that mean? They're not all going private. Does it just mean they're not having kids?
Yeah.
Both answers are correct.
Okay.
The city spends $18,700 per student.
$18,000 per student.
$18,700 per student.
And I wonder
per year.
Yeah.
I wonder what the final results
Wow.
Of their testing is.
It's not. It's pathetic. But I'm loath to blame teachers for that. They're trapped in a bad system.
It's parenting and it's the breakdown of the family.
Now, it's 18.7. That's the average. Some schools are double or triple that number. Frederick Douglass Academy High School, which enrolled 28 students. Why is it even still open? That's $93,000 per student. That's the taxpayers paying that. The Chicago's Teachers Union would not comment to this story. Oh, did I mention that Stacy Davis Gates, she sends her child to a private school.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Sure.
Here's a piece from NBC News in Chicago. Chicago Teachers Union president enrolled child in private school. Other Chicago political leaders have chosen to send their children to private school. Gates, who has been vocal in the past about her opposition to private schools, enrolled her teenager at a Catholic school. NBC Chicago confirmed after days of questions directly to Davis Gates and the Chicago Teachers Union that were left unanswered. NBC Chicago confirmed via Davis Gates' own social media posts and multiple sources that her child was enrolled this year at a Chicago Catholic high school. NBC Chicago is not naming the school nor the name of Gates' child. I think that's wise of them.
Right.
Gates has not responded to our request for comment on the topic, but she has discussed her position on private schools. I'm also a mother, Davis Gates said on March 6, 2022. My children go to Chicago public schools. These are the things that legitimize my space within the coalition. Foghorn space.
Yeah, that's got to get
the word
horn.
space needs to be foghorned.
Yes, sir.
Last year, in a Chicago Magazine article, Davis Gates said, I cannot advocate on behalf of public education without it taking root in my own household. Well, she's a liar and a hypocrite. So she also has publicly voiced strong opposition to school choice in the Illinois Invest in Kids program that allows tax credits that benefit private schools. I have it on good authority from a guy who's very active in trying to privately educate kids in Chicago through these Jesuit startup schools.
Yep.
And that their own Governor Cockwomble took away the tax break for that, and he did it at the behest of the Chicago Teachers Union.
Gosh.
So the left has never done anything for you. They're not on your side. They're not on your side.
They're not on your children's
and they
side
don't
to
give
educate.
a bleep about your kid, and that's true here. The teachers might. I'm talking.
The teachers do, but their hands are tied. The
the
union runs everything.
I'm talking the political class of the administration, which is extraordinarily top heavy.
Is she getting any pushback there?
Well, her family's neighborhood high school in Harlan is Harlan Community Academy. It ranks 437 out of 664 Illinois high schools. Other political leaders have chosen to send their children to private schools, including former mayors Rahm Emanuel, Lori Lightfoot, and Richard Daley, as well as Pritzker. Mayor Johnson's teenage daughter does not attend the family's West Side neighborhood school, but rather a magnet school across town. While Davis Gates is paying more than $16,000 tuition for her child to attend a Catholic high school, well, that's still $2,700 cheaper than if the taxpayers are paying for a kid to go to the public school. The Invest in Kids program that helps others who cannot afford that amount is on life support. As this is the bill I'm talking about. As the General Assembly did not decide yet whether to extend funding for the program, the teachers union and other teachers unions have lobbied vigorously to oppose any investment in kids program that would allow a kid to not have to attend a public school. The Invest in Kids program promotes school choice, which is expected to come up when lawmakers return to Springfield in the fall. It is not clear if the Chicago Teachers Union will continue to voice opposition now that their president has taken that route for her child. By the way, the Chicago Tribune editorialized yesterday, essentially telling New Yorkers, if you want to be just like us, you vote for Zohar Mamdani.
Brandon Johnson was at the podium. Would you like to hear from him talking about
In what sense?
Talking about investing into African-American students.
Sure.
Our way will bring to black residents in reclaiming ownership of our own communities. That is the spirit of Juneteenth, you all. It is about reflecting on our past. Other cultures are taught to never forget. We need to be reminded as blacks here in Chicago,
I can't
America.
listen to this commie. He drives me crazy.
Basically, they're handing out race-based grants to black residents in the form of reparations.
Well, but the point is, the Tribune was saying to New Yorkers, you want to take a look at us. You want to be just like us? You vote for this Zohar Mamdani, which voters did in resounding numbers.
Yep.
So the guy's an anti-Semite. Well,
really good if you're a New York mayor.
What can I do?
Well, wait till Omar Fateh gets the nomination here.
Do you think they'll just outright outlaw Jews in Minneapolis? Do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
This gal making these outrageous statements in Chicago, he really got my attention right off the bat when she accused Republicans of not wanting black kids to read.
She's on the far, far left, and she's as nuts as anybody on the far, far right.
Did anybody step up to her and say, wait a minute, that's an outrageous statement, and it's not true? Do you know if, do you know if they have any less than style rules in the Chicago schools? Do you have any idea?
I can only imagine that it's all less than based.
Because we've been talking off the air the last couple of days about how outrageously...
You know what? It isn't less than, Kenny. It's racist.
Thank you.
It's racist.
It's just straight up racist.
You know,
nobody more racist in this country than a white liberal.
And they disguise it so well by saying, we're looking out for you.
Oh, we care so much.
Did anybody watch the draft last night? Or parts of?
Are you out of your mind?
Wait, what's your analogy here?
Okay.
Why?
Because there were several, there's white and black players, but all of the black players either had a mom and dad or a mom that they said, my mom or my parents sacrificed everything, made me work hard, took me to task, and I am who I am because of her or them today. And they said we had nothing. The ones from what was he from? Not Ghana or wherever, I don't know. It was from an Africa. He said we had absolutely nothing.
Ricky, to answer your question, I did watch the draft, and I noticed Dylan Harper's mom. He was the second pick.
I have an observation. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Go.
I think I know why you watch the draft.
I'd like to see basketball, see who's going
No.
Yeah,
I got it. I got it. I got it.
Be top 10.
Let me ask you something.
Sophomore
Just
pick.
ask me. Let me settle down.
Yeah.
Did your wife watch it?
Yes.
And probably a couple of the girls who might have been around.
They weren't there, but the one checked in on FaceTime.
You were watching the draft to study the clothing.
Damn it.
Okay, you're missing a really good. You're missing an excellent point that he brought up.
Yes,
Phil.
but you're right. Yes, 100% guilty.
Shut up, Matthew.
Are you defending me?
Well, I'm trying to. If you'd shut your mouth. What did we hear from the mom up in Falwell Park 2-3 days ago?
Oh yeah.
What did she say?
It's all up to the parenting.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't miss his point, Kenny. Unfortunately, it's just it's what these players are expected to say. I'm not saying it's not true.
My mom chose it baseball.
My mom chose it basketball for me.
My mama told me to tell you.
Anyway.
It's about to go down.
That's what being a parent is, though. I mean, how many of us face this and we thought, oh, well, there's no way in the hell I'm going to be able to afford this. And yet somehow
you found a way.
We made all the sacrifices and somehow made it work.
Well, basketball
might be hard.
Well, basketball is probably the most inexpensive sport in the country to play. Where the parents can be credited is they might have seen talent in the kid and said, I'd stick with this if I were you.
Those Air Jordans aren't cheap.
Equipment, camps, traveling expenses.
Let me tell you something.
But I get what you're saying.
I'm tired of you being a contrarian. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
You should feel blessed that we have your back. We're here for you.
No, it's cheap
friend.
in the sense that there's a rim on every corner.
Sure.
I mean, you
get that as lend her eyes a C down, and you can.
Well, do you think these kids are going to summer camps?
The kids that were drafted?
Yeah.
150%.
Who do you think paid for those camps?
And played ball year-round with
Joe,
different teams.
I know William is in 7th grade going into 8th grade. In his grade alone...
Has he been offered a camp?
No, because I want him to play baseball. He has 4 buddies that are playing basketball year-round right now, and it ain't cheap.
Reavers, This is Joe's world. We're just guests in Joe's world.
No, we're on the same page, but different paragraphs.
Go to the jump. Go to the jump.
No. I guess what I'm trying to say is, so the sacrifices the parents made, you think reflect on what they paid for camps? Because the game itself, to play for your high school team, it doesn't cost you a thing.
I don't think the mom
Tennis shoes
from Senegal had her son in camp. He started playing at 12.
If he's from Senegal and he went to a summer camp, I got news for you. Some college or high school paid for the camp.
But that's how these kids
Joe's
get noticed.
world.
It's
Joe's
exposure.
world.
It's social media.
It's such a headache.
What do you got over there?
Is it Friday? Feels like Friday.
All right, everybody.
What do I don't look at me like that.
Why don't you ask me?
You always want something, don't you?
I do. We got a lot of ads to fit it because you guys are all off next week.
Oh, boy.
Woohoo! You know, you act like you're surprised by that.
No, I'm not
For
at all.
100 years,
I know.
GL has taken the 4th of July week off.
But I like that people that aren't going to be here decided we need shows next week.
Yeah, don't you, Chris? I told you not to bring that up.
Yeah,
I need this job. Just don't.
Well, we're all headed for needing an attorney, it sounds like.
Yep. I'm going to give them $1 first so they retain me.
Do we collectively have one attorney, or should we each have our own?
No, we can each get one from Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys, from when we get done beating each other up.
Right.
If you're like me, and let's just stick to unfortunate car accidents. If the insurance companies and adjusters can be difficult to deal with, you need Bradshaw and Bryant on your side. Mike Bradshaw from Bradshaw and Bryant and his team are there to explain your rights, represent you, get you through a tough time. That initial consultation, of course, is free. For 6 consecutive years, Mike Bryant has been recognized as a super lawyer by Law and Politics. They're the Bible when it comes to that, because I got buddies who are lawyers.
Yeah.
And I always see if they make the Law and Politics
They don't make
list.
it.
Not my
Only the good ones do, Joe.
But Bryant did. I hope you're never in an accident, but if you are, call Bradshaw and Bryant at 800-770-7008, or go to minnesotapersonalinjury.com for that free case evaluation. And Bradshaw and Bryant says, please don't be part of the problem. Don't text and drive, and don't drive distracted. That's just common sense from Bradshaw and Bryant.
Positive Thursday brought to us by Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care. They're in Shoreview, 1060 County Road E. 3rd generation Schoonover. Mike is with us today. And Mike, it was so fun visiting with 4th generation Schoonover, Matthew, last week. Seems like you've got yourself a solid, upstanding citizen on your hands with that son of yours.
Yeah, we're pretty proud of him, Kenny. Yeah, he's kind of charted his own course and is kind of following his own way, and he's turning out to be okay.
One of the cool things, just this is a personal note for me, living where I live, is I'm on my ancestors' property, 4th generation Olson. And that's got to be pretty cool for you. We're talking the 4th generation. Your grandpa started the business. Your dad ran it for years. You took it over. And now it looks like Matthew is setting himself up to be the 4th generation Schoonover. You've got to have a little bit of pride in that. But that's the way successful businesses, small businesses, in my opinion, are run in Garage Logic.
Yeah, I'm super excited, Kenny. A year or two ago, Matthew was doing his own thing with his own business and didn't, really show a lot of interest in joining the family business yet.
Yeah.
Because I really think he wanted to see what would happen with his business. And then, we were looking at possibly selling, and, a lot of our businesses, a lot of family-owned business in the automotive world are are becoming corporate giants, either regional or national. And so as appealing as that sounds, and getting a pile of money and going off to the wild blue yonder, having a multi-generational family business, just like you mentioned with your family's farm, there's nothing that can replace that. There's no amount of money in the world that would give you the pride that you have, and especially when they're successful, and you get to keep now another family, another Schoonover family, and offspring are going to be taken care of through the business and hard work and that type of thing. So we get to keep it going, and I know my dad would be super proud of Matthew and the business and our employees for dealing with us Schoonovers. But yeah, there's nothing better. I'm just so happy. It's just so much fun. And you know what, Kenny, it also pays off because we're doing well. And when I say that, we're doing well with hiring really good employees and taking really good care of our customers and doing really good work. And so we're fortunate, and we get to do this every day. And then on top of it, I get to work with my family.
From a customer standpoint, me personally, and I have to think a lot of GLers, it really means something to go to a family business that's been around for so long. You guys really get how it works. And by it, I mean dealing with customers, making customers happy, making them comfortable, getting them the proper the proper repairs and everything they need. And then your employees, they might not be family, but they are family. I mean, they're fully vested in your operation. Some of your employees have been there forever, and they have everything at stake just as much as you do. And that, as a customer, that's what I'm looking for in a business when I shop around.
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, that's what we try to do as well. I mean, it's always great to, quote unquote, shop local, and most of those local businesses are family. So yeah, we're fortunate, we're blessed, and I'm really, really excited for the future.
GLers, if you have a chance, if you need anything related to your ride, and it's not just body work, it's everything these days. If you need tires, you need a simple oil change maybe, or if you need a brand new engine, Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care, they've been around since 1938. They know what's up, and they will definitely send you home happy. They're always rated as one of the top shops in the metro, the best in the biz, number one, if you ask us at Garage Logics. Go to the website, schoonoverbodyworks.com. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Kenny. Thanks, GLers. Everybody have a great day.
That's the problem.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
That's me playing guitar. Just so
I thought it was a professional.
That's tasty, John.
You were just...
I meant that as a compliment.
Oh, thanks. I guess.
Yeah.
Should I do news now?
Well, do the damn news.
Well, you didn't introduce me.
Here's John Heidt in his newsroom.
Well, thank you, Mr. Souchere. That's very nice of you.
Yeah.
This news is brought to you by North American Banking Company. Jenny Belter has released her first public statement since her husband, Vance Belter, allegedly shot and killed Representative Melissa Hortman.
Is that fruitcake and I pick her out or two?
No, Jenny extended her condolences to the Hortman and Hortman families, said the acts of terror do, quote, not align at all with our beliefs as a family. It's a betrayal of everything we hold true as tenets of our Christian faith, she said. We are appalled and horrified by what occurred, and our hearts are incredibly heavy for the victims of this unfathomable tragedy.
You're full of the S word, lady. What the hell were you doing with a car full of guns and money trying to leave?
Joe.
You knew damn well something was going to happen.
Joe.
Why didn't she do something?
Did you read this story, Joe, at all?
You're
familiar with this story?
You're wrong on every account here.
She pushed back on reports that she was stopped by law enforcement on the day of the shootings. It was previously reported, as you'll recall, that Jenny Belter was detained at a convenience store in Onamia as law enforcement searched her vehicle. That search turned up 2 firearms, about $10,000 in cash, and passports for Belter and her children. Jenny Belter now claims she was not pulled over. met with agents at the gas station on her own accord after law enforcement had contacted her. She said, "We were not pulled over. We parked and waited until they got there. When they did, we voluntarily agreed to meet with them, answered all their questions, provided all items they requested, and cooperated with all searches." While Jenny Belter did not directly acknowledge her husband's role in the killing, she did thank law enforcement for their diligent and professional effort. She said, "We thank law enforcement for apprehending Vance and protecting any others from any further harm."
So what praise you want me to give her?
Why? I
You don't
think she
need to
needs
give her any praise.
Yeah.
Just don't make those accusations.
Yeah, you meant to
because they're
say
not true.
allegedly.
No, allegedly doesn't work. It just those accusations aren't true.
Well, I think it's very odd that she's got guns and money. I don't care if she waited to be questioned. Big deal. What the hell's she doing?
Do you want me to go out to my truck and count the number of firearms?
But I don't trust you either.
Oh, okay. Well, when you put it that way,
Yeah.
I guess it's okay.
You got 10 grand in your truck? Because I'll drive up and get some from you if you do.
I'm currently sitting at no grand.
But he already told us he leaves his money in the truck.
Well, I guess that's going to change now.
We've talked about this off the show. I don't think we have during the recording of the show. There's a new rule for Minnesota roads that'll allow lane splitting and filtering from motorcycles to keep moving in slowed or stopped traffic, and it goes into effect on July 1st. It was passed in the 2024 session with bipartisan support. Advocates said this will only work if everyone is on the same page.
Yeah.
And we're not.
That's right.
Phil Stahlberger says, "We've been out educating car dealerships. We've been talking to schools. This is a new concept for Minnesota. We want to educate as many people as possible." Through the BMW Motorcycle Owners Club of Minnesota and law firm partners, Stahlberger is steering the conversation by keeping riders and drivers in the loop about the new law. His passion stems from personal experience when his motorcycle was rear-ended at 30 miles an hour, leaving him injured. He also advocated for the law to be passed when it moved through the legislature. Lane splitting is allowed when traffic is moving. It allows a motorcycle to pass another vehicle in the same direction of travel and in the same traffic lane. Only under these conditions, motorcyclists can't exceed 25 miles an hour while splitting the lane. Lane filtering is allowed when traffic is not moving. It allows a motorcycle to keep moving through a traffic jam or stop traffic light by moving to the front. In both cases, motorcyclists cannot exceed 15 miles an hour over the speed of traffic. Splitting and filtering the lane is only allowed when two or more lanes of traffic are traveling in the same direction. The new rules of the road do not apply in one-lane construction zones, roundabouts, or school zones.
Thoughts?
Can I give you my 2 cents worth?
I would love to hear it.
The concept behind it is accurate. Motorcyclists are safest when they're moving. You're a sitting duck when you're stopped. Right. If you're on two wheels and not moving, you're more in danger than you are moving. So I get the concept.
Okay.
But this presumes that the average motorist follows the news, follows what the new laws are in the legislature, and is paying attention to what's going on. That can't possibly be true. What they're going to do is see a motorcyclist going between the two lanes, and they're going to get angry and say, "Look at that guy. That's illegal."
They're going to close the gap is what they're going to do. We see this with merging, and we see it in roundabouts. Drivers in this state can't handle this.
Coming home from the MSRA on Friday, I was with my wife and my daughter driving south on Snelling, approaching University. Red light and traffic. I had my elbow on the armrest, and some guy flew by on a motorcycle, scared the effing bleeping you-know-what out of me, and was doing exactly that. And I didn't get mad and went, "Hey!" But I just thought, how dangerous is that? Because somebody is going to get upset and, like you said, open their door, close the gap, do something bad. I didn't even see him coming because we were
22-year-old kids on street bikes will certainly take advantage of this, and they'll be doing so in this state at great risk.
You should see my Twitter account. I made a tweet about this yesterday, and it's been nonstop arguing ever since. And a lot of people are saying we're already seeing this on the freeway at speed.
I already have my answer, but would you do that, Joe?
No.
Okay.
To Kenny's point, when we were going to MSRA, there was an accident on 35 last Friday. I was stopped. All traffic was stopped. Guy buzzed right by all of us, in the middle of all of us. Scared the living bejesus out of me, same as Rook. They're already doing it, and we got to be more aware, I guess.
Yeah, we need to start, making driving a priority. Always watch your mirrors, always, no matter what.
Right. When you're on a motorcycle, everybody is trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Stop tailgating motorcycles, give them room. Be aware. The phone is the biggest enemy.
Yep.
The phone.
Then you're on a motorcycle. Don't follow anything being trailered.
Yeah.
What if you got those big 8 bars?
That's your problem.
But I'm very much in favor of this rule, but I
don't trust the drivers.
I see mayhem in our future because of the drivers in the automobiles.
That's the point I was going to make, Kenny. I mean, traffic in the afternoon is already horrendous. This is just going to make it worse.
I always had an excuse ready if I got stopped by an officer, because I was going to go through every red light I could on a motorcycle, and always did if there was nobody around. If there was no traffic coming in the way I was going, I went through the red light. And if he stopped me, I was going to say, I'm far better off moving than I would be sitting there waiting to get hit.
You are going to get hammered in the emails because that's exactly what bicycle riders do. And now I think it's legal, actually.
Yeah,
it
is.
At least in Minneapolis. And boy, do the car drivers
Well, but
hate
unlike
that rule.
bicyclists, I came to a complete stop and made sure it was safe to cross the street.
Yeah.
I think the weirdest part to me, and Kenny, you basically talked about this. People drive so angry.
Yeah.
If they see it in their mirror, I would worry.
Yep. They're going to squeeze you out.
Yeah. Do something about it.
Of course.
Yep. And I noticed again last week when I was down there, the people that are paying attention and doing the driving, they end up getting the most mad because they're dealing with people that aren't paying attention and aren't driving and are doing under the speed limit in the left lane. And nobody cares about the flow. We're all a bunch of Americans, and all we care about is ourselves, and we don't give one rat's ass about the flow.
That's about it. An Iranian man who, quote, admitted ties to Hezbollah was arrested by ICE Sunday in St. Paul, according to the Department of Homeland Security. 56-year-old Mehran Makari Saheli was previously convicted of being a felon in possession of a firearm. Court records show he also pleaded guilty to having false immigration documents in 2009. According to DHS, an immigration judge ordered him to be deported in 2022, but he remained in the U.S. Authorities also say he's a former member of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps and has admitted connections to Hezbollah. ICE records say that Saheli is currently in custody. He is in the Sherburne County Jail. And the Forest Lake Police Department said it's noticed there's a lot of bear sightings recently in residential neighborhoods.
They're getting closer.
The police department said the bear's appearance is normal for this time of year. If you live in Minnesota, you live in black bear country, or not black bear, in bear country, the department said. The black bear is an iconic.
Oh, come on.
Sorry.
Here.
Should have given you a heads up. Black bear is an iconic species, usually associated with Minnesota's North Woods, and while they are common throughout the forested northern and central portions of the state, they can live throughout the state, sometimes wandering into cities and towns. Police recommend that residents take some precautions to minimize contact with the bears in town. Residents, according to police, should make sure bear attractants like birdseed, dog food, grease, garbage, fish entrails, and fruit are properly secured or removed to prevent bears from seeking it out. Authorities also advised residents against approaching bears and to keep an eye on pets when they're outside.
Yeah, don't take a selfie, you idiot.
Are bears
vulnerable.
From the swine world? Are bears pigs? Some common animal that's related to the bear?
Well, I do know there's an episode of South Park that had the bear-pig combo, but I think that was a total different deal.
Are bears, they're not rodents. I thought they were something.
Own thing?
Maybe bears are just bears.
Bears are not pigs. They are omnivores.
Omnivores.
That's a plant eater, isn't it?
No,
that's both, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, herbivore is.
They're ambidextrous.
No. What?
In the batting cage?
Right.
Yes.
You throw with both hands. Maybe they could help the twins.
They're classified as caniforms or dog-like carnivorians. Although only 8 species of bears are extant, they are widespread, appearing in a wide variety of habitats. Okay, Common?
Well, then I'm wrong. They're not from the pig family or anything else. They're bears.
The polar bear is carnivorous, and the giant panda is herbivorous, but they are still come from the same...
I know why you asked that question, Joe.
Why?
Because we call the males boars and we call the girls sows, which is the same
That's right.
in the pig world.
That's right.
Okay.
Look at us talking this without
There's some really funny stuff, though, about pandas on the socials. I happen to love panda bears.
Yes.
But the main belief you come away with is, how could they possibly survive in the wild?
Because they're dumb.
They're clumsy. They're funny. They bump into stuff. They're just morons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're really easy to teach how to smoke. There's nothing funnier than a panda having a heater.
And they have a good sense of humor, just like Gary Larson captured in The Far Side when the mom says to the kid, says to the mama bear, "Tell the story again." And she's holding 2 skulls with some caps and, "Hey, Larry, do you think there's any bears in this cave?" "I don't know. Let's go check it out."
He was the greatest, wasn't he?
Oh, my God. It's just the human characteristic. That's what's so funny.
The dog driving by and all the dogs are hanging out the window and they look at the car and the guy's in the house looking at a note on the refrigerator. It says, "Master, we went into town. Stay.
With the backwards S. Oh, my God.
He had a lot of good dog ones. He had the bus. Remember the bus with all the dogs?
Oh, yeah. He was the best. Oh.
And then talking to the dog, blah, 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 blah.
Stay out of the trash,
blah, blah,
Ginger.
blah, blah,
Ginger, you stay out of the trash, okay? I'll blah, blah, blah. Ginger. Blah, 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 blah. Ginger.
Blah, 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 Ginger. All right, why don't we take a break here?
You know what I think
Mr. Reavers.
I think I know what those bears were looking for.
What?
Clean water.
They always are.
Refreshing. Ice cold.
Well, the Ham's bear was the Hams from the land of sky blue waters.
That's exactly what they were looking for.
Right.
Refreshment. Because it was hot last weekend.
It was. It's going to be hot this weekend.
And you know what? That's why you need to make the switch.
Well,
to Hofferman Water in Connecticut.
There you are.
Thank you.
You got it.
Go.
HoffermanWater.com.
Now he'll start. He'll say the next 4 paragraphs in rapid time.
Let's go.
I will not, Joe. I will not. I will speak calmly about Hofferman Water and Connecticut. Here's the deal. The first step, though, is you have to get on the schedule and you have to have them come out for that free water analysis. When you get that free water analysis, they're going to give you a water score. And based upon that water score, Joe Souchere,
I'd hate to flunk that.
Well, yeah, it's not like a pass or fail. It's based upon a number scale.
No, but I'd feel shame.
Well, I tell you what, I made the switch because I did fail the water score test.
Yeah.
Jim came out and said, "Your water's terrible."
Ooh, I don't like that.
And he was right, and it made an amazing difference in the quality of our water. So here's the deal. You got to get on that schedule. Do it one of 2 ways, HoffermanWater.com, or call them directly at 612-895-2440. And if you go to that website, you can see every single water treatment system that they have to offer, and they are the best. So get on that schedule, have them come out, and please do me a favor and let them know that you heard about them in the Garage Logic podcast. Hofferman Water has been proudly serving the state of Minnesota for over 50 years.
Hey, this is Pete from Hire Pro. Let me let you in on a little secret. You don't need a roofing company. Yeah, I know, it's hail damage, probably sounds a little contradictory, but you don't. The thing they don't want you to know is just like when it hails on the house of someone who owns a roofing company, you're allowed to general contract your own project, and you're allowed to keep the compensation that insurance gives you. In the last 3 years, the average homeowner helped by Hire Pro has saved about $6,000. Average. Before you sign anything with anybody, hit up Hire a Pro. We will review your claim with you and show you exactly what goes into labor, materials, how much profit would be on the claim for a roofing company, and how much you can keep when you general contract your own project. It's super simple, and in the end, you get the exact same product. A high-quality roof installed with a warranty and by a licensed and insured crew. So hit us up at hirea.pro, and we'll show you on your claim how the cake is made. And in the end, if you'd rather have someone with no transparency take all of your money, you can always still get that done, just not from us.
Visit them online at then put a .pro. It's so simple, even the people knocking on your door could do it.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
is excitement in the air. Excitement in the air, and I'm talking about fireworks. I sit right here to the right of the fireworks commissioner of Garage Logic.
Hi.
And I have been anointed an assistant to the assistant to the deputy assistant. And I was told he wanted me to talk about Fireworks Forever, a locally owned, veteran-founded company in 1981. That's quite a long time ago. So what happens then is, as the fireworks industry has changed, boy, it has improved quite a bit. You want to make sure that you offer everybody that buys fireworks fun, but also safety. They handpick and import all of their fireworks. There is no middleman. What that means is low prices for you, more booms for less bucks. They've got 2 locations in Somerset and St. Croix Falls, a friendly and knowledgeable staff. And that's pretty important. You got the kid that wants to get the big bag boomer. You need to know how to light it, how far away to be, and where to light it. So they will help you with that staff. They've got actual pyrotechs on staff to help answer any questions you have and provide education on safe and responsible fireworks use. You don't want to make a trip to Paul's Prosthesis Palace after the 4th of July. Their selection, huge. It's over 400 products in stores. If you want to get a sneak peek, go to fireworksforever.com. Prices are listed right there, so there's no surprises. They've got coupons, and they've got every product in the store includes an information product description and or a QR code linking to the short video so you can see what it does. That's great. No gimmicks, transparent pricing listed right there on the website. Go to their website, fireworksforever.com. Happy 4th of July from the entire family over there, the Wachter family, and let them know that you heard it on the Garage Logic podcast that you want to wrap up the Fireworks Forever spot.
John Heidt.
5960.
I'm not ready anymore.
Oh, okay. I've got some more.
No. In news, Iran's parliament voted yesterday to suspend cooperation with the International Atomic Energy Agency. The bill requires approval from that country's unelected 12-person Guardian Council and Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei to go into effect. There are still competing claims about the impact of the U.S. military strikes on the nuclear program. President Trump maintaining the strike set Iran's program back decades, downplaying a leaked U.S. intelligence report suggesting a months-long delay. Trump said he will meet with Iranians next week for negotiations, but that deal is not necessary to degrade Iranian capabilities. Iran claims it moved its uranium stockpile out of nuclear facilities ahead of the strikes and now plans to accelerate enrichment. Separately, the president touted progress in ceasefire talks between Israel and Hamas. Dozens of people reported killed in Gaza while waiting for aid this week, and 7 Israeli soldiers killed in a bombing yesterday. Federal Vaccine Advisory Committee plans to review the childhood vaccination schedule and scrutinize vaccines that have been approved for decades. And that has health experts and medical personnel worried that the panel may consider changes to long-standing vaccine recommendations. Yesterday, the newly appointed Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices convened for the first time to talk about updated data on COVID vaccines and RSV antibody drugs. Supreme Court's in its last days of a term that has been mostly dominated by the Trump administration's emergency appeals of lower court orders, but the justices still have 6 other cases to resolve that were argued between January and mid-May. One of those cases argued was an emergency appeal, the administration's bid to be allowed to enforce Trump's executive order denying birthright citizenship to U.S.-born children of parents who are in the country illegally. Those remaining opinions will be delivered tomorrow, according to Chief Justice John Roberts. Today, a divided court allowed state cut off Medicaid money to Planned Parenthood amid a wider Republican-backed push to defund the country's biggest abortion provider. Elon Musk, remember, he's wanted to go to Mars for a long time. Well,
yes, he has. He'd like to populate it.
Apparently, he's gotten rid of that vision, according to his longtime mentor, Peter Thiel. In a new interview with Ross Douthat for the New York Times, Thiel has claimed that the Tesla and SpaceX CEO no longer believes a Martian colony is a viable political project for humans to build a new society. According to Thiel, 2024 is the year Elon stopped believing in Mars. Interplanetary expansion has long been an ambition for Musk, but Thiel says that was once an ideological project, and it's now solely a technological one. The SpaceX CEO has previously said humans could set foot on Mars by 2028, and he told Fox News last month that colonization of the red planet was essential to, in his words, ensure the long-term survival of civilization in the hopefully unlikely event that something terrible happens to Earth. Thiel says he's now abandoned that idea.
I'm glad because I never was going to go.
Hi, this is Peter. I think he thinks I'm a Martian.
That's right.
2 days of closing closing arguments in Sean Diddy Combs' sex trafficking trial began this morning, with a prosecutor telling the jury the hip-hop mogul used power, violence, and fear to rule a criminal enterprise that facilitated kidnapping, arson, and brutal sex crimes that she said were at the heart of the case. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic provided the jury with a roadmap for a closing argument expected to last through the morning hours. She described Combs as someone who doesn't take no for an answer while he committed crimes of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy for 2 decades. Combs, she said, counted on silence and shame to enable and prolong his abuse. He used a small army of employees, she said, an inner circle that included personal assistants and bodyguards to harm women and cover it up. The theory of racketeering law is that when someone commits crime as part of a group, they're more powerful and dangerous, she told the jury. The defendant was a powerful man, but he became more powerful and dangerous because of his inner circle, his business, and his enterprises.
Peter Thiel, what exactly did you tell Elon?
I said, Elon, Mars is a candy bar, not something that you visit. It's too hot. Red planet.
A convenience store.
That became Al Franken.
It sounded like Al.
Hi, this is Peter. He sounded like Al Franken.
Hey, I saw, is Al in a new movie? Didn't I see?
God, I don't know.
Come in, Rangoon.
No, hold on. I'm going to look it up now.
Well, you can continue, John. We don't need to wait for.
In my defense, I would say Al has more of a deeper. Peter has a little higher. Al has a little slower and deeper, and he's looking for the pretzels in the bar car.
Wait a minute. That was Trading Places.
Well, it's okay. It wasn't Eddie Murphy.
Wait, you're never supposed to mention that.
Eddie Murphy?
That movie.
Well, I can't do a line from Eddie Murphy in Trading Places.
The rules are changing quickly.
Y'all be cool. Right on.
Yeah, that's true. That might have just been a radio rule. Because now that we're a podcast.
We are not ruled by regulations.
What?
Regulations.
Hi, this is Peter. Regulations.
Is it okay if I go home?
Yeah, you're good.
John, thank you.
Oh, I'm done, I guess.
Why not?
Sure.
Listen.
Put a couple in the bake for
what are you
tomorrow.
gonna do?
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I do the same thing. So, say if you are planning on moving your business, expanding your business, starting from scratch, why not consider Sioux Falls, South Dakota? Business-friendly tax environment with no personal or corporate and state income taxes. A nice little town, 300,000 people with a ready-to-work workforce. Best small city for business and careers, ranked number 1 by Forbes magazine. It's a really business-friendly state and a business-friendly city, and a great place to take advantage of these incentives. It's got the low business cost combined with a high quality of life. You really are not finding that these days in Minnesota. And as I mentioned, no state corporate or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, no limits to what your business can achieve, and entrepreneurship is welcomed, not frowned upon. Check it all out at SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
He's giving up.
This guy wears many hats, just not indoors. Joe Souchere.
Hey, GLers, it's the final day. That's right, it's the final day for the Garage Logic Summer Savers online auction. Today's the final day, 8 o'clock to be exact, and the featured items that you can find at garagelogic.com after you enter the keyword auction are zero-turn lawnmower, string trimmer, and leaf blower from our friends at Tri-State Bobcat. We've got e-bikes and a generator from EcoFun Motorsports, a airport hotel stay at the Intercontinental for your next getaway, golf simulators, garage storage systems, a compass, cart, and rack system, and a 40-foot shipping container. Yes, really. Also, a very cool family getaway to Camp Dells. It's all there for you, so just go to garagelogic.com and enter the keyword auction.
Have any of you fellas ever seen the wedding vow announcements in the New York Times?
No,
I have not.
They're just spectacular.
Is it engagement photos and things like that?
Okay. Just spectacular for how precious they are.
The parents of Allison are proud to announce.
Oh, but here, I have one for you. By way of the American Thinker, who's breaking one down here. It's called the American Thinker calls it the New York Times put out its most ridiculous vows wedding announcement ever.
Oh, good.
When Rachel Kelly Atchison and Sean Adrian McElwee first met at a West Village coffee shop in June of 2022, it was at 2/10 to be a meet cute. Ms. Atchison, at the time senior assistant to Mayor Eric Adams, was planning to chew out Mr. McElwee, a pollster with whom she shared a mutual friend. Mr. McElwee was conducting polling on behalf of Protect Our Future Super PAC, which was backed by Sam Bankman-Fried, the crypto billionaire later convicted of fraud. She was angry about political spending in general, including the more than $11 million that Protect Our Future put towards Carrick Flynn, a long-shot congressional candidate in Oregon. As a proponent of effective altruism, Ms. Atchison felt strongly that the money should have gone to charity. And the woman who wrote this, Monica Showalter, then sets aside room for her comments. Had enough? She likes to tell other people how they should spend their money, and for that matter, what they should eat. And it turns out that this woman is 33. She's a food policy wonk. The pair shacked up together for a while and then had a city hall wedding. 2 days later, they held a celebration at Tamer Lane Sanctuary and Preserve in Montague, New Jersey. The 202 guests, including plant-based nonprofit employees, hedge fund managers, alternative protein-focused venture capitalists, and political consultants, were invited to participate in community-building breakout sessions, which included salsa lessons, improv, a storytelling workshop, and board games. At their wedding event, following the non-religious City Hall affair, they expressed their love this way. This is the Times. Were invited to participate in community building, including salsa lessons, improv, a storytelling workshop, and board games. The drizzly weather cleared in time for the ceremony portion of what they called a learning wedding. After a guided meditation and a pause for Ms. Atchison's introductory speech, the couple exchanged their vows. Mr. McElwee promised to keep building together and made several references to the bride's preternatural ability to connect others. Guests were instructed to fill out a questionnaire before the wedding and were sent a spreadsheet listing other guests in their LinkedIn profiles. A plant-based catering company, Jam Cakery Events, provided food for the BYOB reception. And in place of gifts, the couple requested that every guest write them a one-page letter in advance. The letters were compiled into a notebook to be read and enjoyed on their honeymoon. Is there more? I hope not.
Give me a rope, a rickety chair, and a rafter.
Yeah, I can't go on. It's just
wow. All those people that you mentioned, that I bet you they're all millionaires too.
Oh, hell
all
yeah.
Of them. Plant-based. Oh, wow.
Only because
these are the people that if they go in the ditch in the snow and you pull over to help them,
they think you're there to rob them.
They keep their windows rolled up because you're a big, what do they call male? A toxic male.
She's the woman who would bring out the table salt for the driveway.
Yes.
Yep.
Bingo.
What a fun honeymoon, though, reading the letters from these fruitcakes who actually got suckered enough to go to the wedding.
I would love that if you and your bride received an invitation like that. I would love to hear your reaction. If you're going to come to our wedding,
receiving the invite or actually going to it?
If you're going to come to our wedding, we need you to write a letter.
Yeah, I'll see it later.
See you later.
Only because they come to us all the way from South Africa in Mpumalanga province, where the traveling Lymans are at a game park. On this day, in Minnesota history, Chris, on this day,
June 26th,
in 1834, Congress appropriated $7,000 to survey the boundary line between the Ojibwe and Dakota, which had been agreed upon in the Treaty of 1825 at Prairie du Chien. The line was eventually drawn from the Chippewa River to Otter Tail Lake. On this day,
on June 26th,
in 1851, a young woman wearing bloomers, or Turkish-style pants, stepped onto the St. Paul levee. She created quite a sensation, with James M. Goodhue, editor of the Minnesota Pioneer, noting that the girl looked remarkably well as far as we could see. Thus, Amelia Bloomer, who on the East Coast was attempting to reform the style of women's clothing, made her influence known in the Midwest. So the young woman was in fact named Bloomer. Maybe she was the inventor of bloomers.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Oh, boy. And then she showed him off there. On this day.
Thanks, ma'am. June 26th.
In 1948, Swedish Prince Bertil unveiled a tablet to Jacob Falstrom, the first Swede in Minnesota. Was he still around, the first Swede in Minnesota? Or I suppose he was dead. Okay. A fur trader who arrived in Minnesota in the 1820s. Falstrom settled near Afton and died there in 1859. The plaque is at the intersection of Robert Street and Kellogg Boulevard in St. Paul. I'm going to look it up.
Wow. If
Prince Bertil.
Huh? May I interrupt, Joe?
Yeah.
The term bloomers was not invented, but popularized by Amelia Bloomer.
I'll be damned.
19th century American women's rights advocate.
And she was here.
Yep.
On this day.
On June 26th.
In 1851.
Yeah.
On this day.
June 26th.
In 1953, Bemidji native Jane Russell and Marilyn Monroe, her co-star in Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Got excited there.
What did I say?
I don't know.
Bloms. Immortalized their handprints in the forecourt of the stars at Grauman's Chinese Theater. Grauman's Chinese Theater in Hollywood, California. So Jane Russell was from Bemidji.
Correct.
Yes.
I did not know that.
I've been there. I stayed right across the street in some old famous hotel there. Actually, the hotel that was featured on the inside sleeve of the Eagles, Hotel California. Does that sound right, John? Or the back of the album?
Bemidji?
Jesus.
No.
Never mind.
No. I'm confused. You talking about Grauman's?
He was talking about staying in a hotel on Hollywood Boulevard.
I'm going to have to look it up. Yeah, I'll look it up.
On this day,
June 26th.
President Dwight D. Eisenhower and Queen Elizabeth opened the St. Lawrence Seaway in an official ceremony in Montreal. The Seaway connected the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean, making Duluth and other lake cities international ports. What a great day that must have been. Huh?
Must have been.
Sure.
On this day,
June 26th,
in 1993, the International Wolf Center opened to the public in Ely. Visitors enjoyed educational exhibits, brushed shoulders with international wolf experts, and peered at the center's 4 wolf pups.
That's crazy.
On this day,
where did they get the wolf urine?
From De Wolf.
From De Wolves.
On this day,
June 26th,
in 1993, Sunrace 93 concludes in Apple Valley near the Minnesota Zoo. The 6-day race of solar-powered one-passenger cars on a route from Texas to Minnesota was a competition between engineering students from schools across the country. Activities at the finish line included solar-powered boat races in Lake Nokomis. I'm sorry, activities at the finish, not the finish line, because the finish line was in Apple Valley.
Was at the zoo.
Then the party moved down to Lake Nokomis.
How long did it take? I missed that. I'm sorry.
It didn't say.
6 days.
6 days. I'm sorry,
Okay.
6 days. And finally, on this day,
on June 26th,
in 2004, light rail service on the Blue Line between downtown Minneapolis and Fort Snelling began. Full service to the airport and Mall of America began on December 4, 2004.
Wow.
Through the end of 2013, there were 90.5 million rides on the Blue Line, but only 272 were actually paid for.
Right.
See, I added that part.
So that thing is 21 years old. It can legally drink.
The Green Line in St. Paul, that's only 11 years old.
We don't pay for that one either.
No, that's free.
Right.
On this day,
June 26th,
in sports disappointment history, on this day in 1977, a certain Minnesota sports historian climbed the foul pole at Metropolitan Stadium. I don't know who that was.
Wasn't it Stu Thornley? What
It
year?
might have been Stu. 1977. And why is that a disappointment?
I don't know.
Again, Tom Lyman, I'm not talking to you. I love that Tom Lyman sends these. But whoever compiled these...
Is it a disappointment because it's somewhat embarrassing? I guess I don't know the angle.
I don't know either.
Okay.
In fact, here's what we'll do. I'll just read the ones that are a disappointment. I thought I made that vow before, and I apologize. I haven't lived up to it.
Well, you kind of go Ron Burgundy with this day in history because you trust the Lymans.
But this isn't this day in history. This is this day in Minnesota sports disappointment history.
That's true.
On this day,
on June 26th,
in 1996, and this is a disappointment, alluded to yesterday, the Wolves drafted Ray Allen, trade for Stephon Marbury.
And they traded, yep.
Wait a minute.
They had Ray Allen, and they traded him for Stephon Marbury.
Well, they never kept Marbury.
Nope, he left as a free agent. And Ray Allen went on to be a Hall of Famer.
Oh, I'm thinking of the other Stephon, the guy with the Golden Gates.
Curry?
Curry. I was, never mind Marbury Hill. That's nothing.
Never mind.
On this day.
On June 26th.
This is a long one.
Yeah, that's too bad for you, isn't it?
Well, you know.
On this day,
on June 26th,
in 2002, the Timberwolves had no first-round draft pick due to penalties from the illegal Joe Smith deal. I thought we had that yesterday.
I thought so, too.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. On this day.
All right, brace yourself, everybody. Here we go. This is going to be a good one.
June 26th.
In 2003, after not having a first-round pick for 2 years, the Wolves drafted...
Oh, wait, I got it. Duty Eby.
Yep. And Duty Abai.
Yep.
Or whatever the hell his name was.
J.R. Ryder.
Okay, and then finally.
There we go.
On this day.
Home stretch on June 26th.
Well, sports disappointment.
That's right.
Coming around the fourth turn for the checkered flag.
That's right. On this day in 2014, Zach LaVine said, F me, after the Wolves drafted him.
That was worth the wait.
EFF.
Yeah.
EFF.
Yeah.
By the way, I was wrong about that Hotel California thing, so don't send me emails.
Wasn't Hotel California kind of a neat-looking hotel?
The Beverly Hills Hotel. And I thought the inside shot was the hotel I stayed at, but it turns out it's some seedy apartment.
It was a Motel 6.
How did that come up in this day in history?
Way back on
something about
what's her name? Russell, Jane Russell.
Yeah,
Jane Russell, Bemidji native Jane Russell, and Marilyn Monroe. They put their handprints at Grauman's Chinese Theater.
And the hotel across the street that I stayed at is the Roosevelt.
Well, that whole area seems a bit run down.
It's a 4-star hotel.
Really?
Yeah.
What were you doing there?
Partying.
Oh.
Living it up.
Duh.
Went to the Viper Room, went to the Rainbow.
Well, the Viper Room ain't in the Roosevelt Hotel.
Jesus.
Is it?
Thanks, Joe. No.
They probably took transportation.
Put things together.
He only stayed on one block.
Thank you, GLers.
Where is the Viper Room? It's its own place. The Viper Room's not part of a hotel.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
On this day.
I'm not sure if it's Stu Thornley that climbed the flagpole, but there are hints that it may have been him. That's all I can say.
Well, Stu is a sports historian.
Yes, he is.
Is Stu responsible for this day in sports history?
I don't think
No.
Is that his deal?
No, that's what's the website, Chris?
Dan, Minnesota.
Yeah,
Dan,
I thought it was
Minnesota.
Dan.
It is Dan, Minnesota.
He wrote a
well,
book
Dan,
about it.
you got stuff in there that ain't disappointing.
He's a GLer.
I was going to say, now, Dan.
That's why I'm talking to
You're
him.
about to receive an angry email from our buddy Dan.
Dan, you have full authority from all three of us to send us angry even emails.
Tear
you
him a
want to
new
Joe.
one.
No, I'm
Let him
trying
have
to
it.
be helpful. I know Dan's a listener. Dan, get the disappointing stuff in. God knows there's enough of it.
Dan, it's far too positive. Come on, man.
Yeah. Dan. All right, thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you. Don't forget, today is the final day for that summer online auction, GarageLogic.com for more details. Also, subscribe to the Garage Logic YouTube channel. That's right. Garage Logic has a YouTube channel, and you can watch the show each and every single day. And you can also see full segments. There's video shorts. There's also behind-the-scenes footage, but it's all there for you. Just search Garage Logic on YouTube and find us on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And what am I forgetting? Oh, the Daily Logician. Yeah, you should sign up for that as well. It's an email. It comes right to your inbox, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Sign up now and find out more at GarageLogic.com. It is time once again that we check in with our guy, Mr. Money Talk. Josh Arnold is with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And now is the time for you to do the same. So do not delay. Do exactly what I did and pick up that phone and dial 952-925-5608. That number once again is 952-925-5608. When you call that number, you're going to get Josh. And he is there for you for that free, yes, I use the word free, 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And he will always give you the straight talk. He will never give you the sugar-coated advice. And he is on the line with us once again right here in Garage Logic. And Josh, a simple question to start off today's report. Do you think a woman can run a 4-minute mile?
Well, the fastest woman, Chris, has run 4 minutes, 7 seconds. And Nike, which reports their earnings tonight, is staging a big event to see if this particular woman can go under 4 minutes. That would be an astounding feat. This particular woman is a known prodigy. She is many, many seconds faster than any other woman. And Nike is putting together a special promotion, special gear, special shoes, pacers, etc. We'll call it a made-for-TV event to see if a woman could break 4 minutes. Again, this would be an unbelievable feat. It would also be a good promo for Nike sports, in particular Nike running, which has been, and Nike has been under the gun for quite some time. Nike stock is trading close to a low at $61 a share. They have installed a new CEO coming in not more than 6 months ago to try to turn the company around. And that will be, quite a task. Nike has lost tremendous amount of market share, we'll say not only in the running category, to which they were leaders, losing share to Hoka, Adidas. Brooks is owned by Berkshire Hathaway, Saucony, and Asics. As a matter of fact, when I go to my favorite running store, TC Running, over in Eden Prairie, and if you went over there and talked to any of the salespeople there who look older than 50 years old, you can tell them that I sent them. Josh Arnold, Mr. Money Talk sent you, and you can ask for my discount. So that would be a good 25%. Everybody likes a good discount. But TC Running's shoe wall has fewer Nikes compared to what they once had. And I think that is true across the board for all other, we'll say, running stores. I would be willing to bet it is also true when we go to general sporting goods stores like Dick's Sports, and I don't believe their shoe wall is going to be populated either by Nikes, or even not only in terms of running, but also in forms of basketball, tennis, racquetball, soccer, etc. I think other brands have taken a lot of share. And younger kids today probably ask, who the heck is Michael Jordan, and why am I buying Jordans or even LeBron James when, I could be going after another shoe? So Nike does have its work cut out for it, but as a turnaround possibility, stock trading at a low with still a lot of cash, there could be some interesting upside, particularly if they start to get back the buyers that they turned off over the previous CEO's running of the company when they switched from trying to appeal directly to, we'll say, individuals or sports-related people and going in with stores, whether it be Dick's or Foot Locker, companies like TC Running as examples, and went more to direct the consumer in order to capture the entire retail dollar. Well, Nike lost out on that one and lost its place to other players. So we'll see tonight with their reports how long they are along the trail to turning the company around. Meantime, in the technology space, which has been providing a lot of leadership in the market, semiconductors have had a nice run on the backs of NVIDIA's annual shareholder meeting, promoting not just artificial intelligence and data centers, but also the next level is robotics. And that could continue to give NVIDIA a lead. Micron, manufacturer of storage chips, beat and actually raised their estimates going forward. Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, had a meeting just a few weeks ago to tout their new processors and how their processors working in tandem are able to compete better with NVIDIA. And analysts have also liked Broadcom. But with all the semiconductors becoming big leaders in the S&P 500, well, that hasn't happened that often. And given the cyclical nature of the semiconductor business, it could prove fraught. So we need some other leadership there to start climbing. I'm not shying away from technology or internet-related companies, as that has been one of my long-term focuses, along with leisure companies. But just a little word of semi-caution. Chips are going to be needed for whatever we do technologically, but just pay attention that some of these chip companies have become expensive on both a price to sales and price to earnings basis.
And that's why we come to you for the straight talk, and we never get sugar-coated advice, Mr. Money Talk. Once again, thank you so much for the report. You heard him, GLers. Now is the time for you to pick up the phone and make the call for that free 48-minute financial consultation with absolutely zero obligation. And you do that just like I did by dialing 952-925-5608. Josh, as always, thank you so much for the time and the chat. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Look forward to it. Thanks, Chris.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Chris Reavers is a paid endorser.